Well, it's time to get back on the Vega now. We went ahead and welded up our holes. Those came out nice. I like the way those happened. But now it's time to go ahead and start repairing this major. When I say major, I'm talking a lot of hail damage on this roof. And the way we're going to do it is we're not doing paintless dent repair. Ain't no paintless dent repair shit going on over here. But what we're going to do is we're going to basically fill each individual hail dent up. Let's go ahead and get started doing that. So what I got here, I got my little variable speed grinder with a 2-inch disc on it, 36 grit. And I'm going to go back and I am going to get it prepped up so I can start filling all these hail dents. And I've already marked them with pencil. And when I say I marked them, I went ahead and used the light and I followed the light to find all my dents. And I'm going to tell you there's a bunch of them. So let's go ahead and start getting this cleared up so we can start filling it up. A lot of hail damage. Alright, we finally got the bodywork done on one side of the Vega. Now, this is kind of an extensive restoration we're working on here. Everybody knows that from watching the videos. And what I'm doing is I'm doing the overall bodywork. We're going to go look at that side here in a minute. Let me get these jack stands under here, and then we'll swing around to the other side and check it out. And if we look at the other side, you kind of see what's going on here. Did I mention this car was in a hailstorm? South Texas hailstorm? Yeah. When we bought the car, we didn't realize that because the primer that was on the vehicle hid all the damage. But once we stripped it down and we really got a good gander at it, this is what we found. We got the front fender is completely done, all the bodywork. That really wasn't that bad until you get to this area here, and then it's like bam, you know, just pounded down and mashed down like a rotten piece of bread. We had a major dent right here. This wasn't hail damage, this was dented. Went ahead and pulled that out, feathered it out with some Bondo Evercoat. The fender well was crushed in. I went ahead and pulled all that out, fixed it. And then we come up to the roof, and you can see what's going on up there. Hail damage galore, so that was a little bit of a chore. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a special primer on this roof here, and we'll probably go ahead and bring that special primer into this side of the vehicle due to the fact that it was hammered pretty hard by the hail, and I'm going to show you that and do a special video on that product. It's a sprayable Bondo, you might call it, super thick primer, but it's a brand that everybody uses, so we're going to go ahead and use that on here to compensate. And one good thing about this car, once again, is that it's getting a vinyl top. So we have removed all the rust on it. We went ahead and removed all the hail damage on it. We're going to go ahead and flow it out with some spray on Bondo, block sand it out, get it looking really nice, and then it will be prepared and ready for the vinyl top. And then now what we're doing is I came over here while the Bondo was setting up. You know, I'm trying to work on it as we're going, and I don't know if you can see this, but that's crushed in pretty hard. Yeah, it's crushed in and laid down pretty, you know, dangerously like this right there. You go, you see how that is right there? But it's tin canned because the metal on these cars is so thin. And another problem I have is if we look right here, that body line ain't lining up, and that's due to this dent right here. From this getting dented, it rolled it around. So what I did is I went ahead and took the one off one of the parts cars, which is this one right here. This is in excellent shape. Don't mind the surface rust, we'll be removing that. But there's no dents in it, it's perfectly good condition. And what I did is I went ahead and put Pour 15 on the back side of it. And the reason I did that is to protect the bottom of it so it won't rust. Now, here's a good example of hidden damage. This is what you call hidden damage because when you look at the car, it looks like it's really clean because it's in primer. But once you start getting into it and you start marking off everything that you got, and I'm going to show you this when we're done, you really get surprised and shocked. Let's look at the Vega as a throwaway car now, and I'm going to show you something. This fender's never been off this car, so look how the gap is. That's a factory gap, and the fender sticks out from the door. All right, and if you look up here, you can see where the fender actually touches the body of the car. But this fender is the original fender that's never been off the vehicle. The door itself, if you look right here, now it doesn't have the door rubber in it. Let's make sure of that. Let me open that up. See if yeah, okay. It does have door rubber. Wow. Jeez. Because with a gap like that and an inset of the door like that, you would think that there's no door rubber on it. But when you get down here, look how nice that looks. You get to about right here and the door starts going in and it just doesn't look good. And that's the factory setup of these cars when they were built. This is the way that they were presented when you bought them. Body panels didn't line up. Everything was misaligned, and that's basically what you got for your $2,800 or $3,200 off the showroom floor, is a throwaway car that lasted you a couple years, and basically get another one or have the motor replaced. We're going to go ahead and get this soda blasted. Once I get all the body work done, I'm sorry, have this sand blasted, and then we'll have the bottom of the car. I've already told you that, and I'll go ahead and paint all that. And then once that's done, then we will proceed to block sanding it out, getting this car painted. Now, what really pisses me off about this car, and it ain't got nothing to do with the owner or the vehicle itself, but what it does have to do with is the soda blaster. The soda blaster kind of stuck it in my ass here, and I'm going to show you why. If you look inside the car, look how filthy it is. That's because when he soda blasted this car, he opened up the doors and he soda blasted the door jambs. I never told him to do that. I didn't want him to do that, and he took it upon himself to soda blast the door jamb of the vehicle on both sides, and what he created is more work for me, as you can see just by looking in the car itself. It's just a real total mess of a destructional file, this, that, and the other that I got to take care of myself. And speaking of problems, I need to get back on this car right here and get it done. And hopefully the bodywork on this side is going to go a lot smoother than the side that we just got done with. When I do bodywork to a car, I always do a walk around. I pencil mark all of the imperfections and dents that are found on it. And then I always do the worst side first. I always start with the worst and I work my way down to the easiest. So I believe that this side here was the worst side. Actually, the roof was the worst. Then we came over to this side here. And now we're going to be moving over to this side, which should be a lot simpler and easier, and get this thing down the road like it's supposed to be. Now, one more thing we went ahead and did. We went ahead and had this deck lid soda blasted. This is a dent-free deck lid. This came off one of the parts cars out in the back. And the deck lid that is on the car, if we go take a look at it, I contacted the owner and I told him, look, man, the deck lid on the car is pretty dented up, and you can see that right here. You can see where I started doing the body work, and it really came out nice. But I mean, it's the whole top of that. And then if you come down here, it's just bashed in on both sides of the license plate. And then of course in the middle right here, there's a big crease as well. So anyway, we had this soda blasted inside and out, and it came out really, really nice. As you can see, I'm going to turn it around right there. And it is now ready for primer. So we'll go ahead and prep that up and put some primer on it for paint, and then that'll actually be ready to paint. So our 76 Vega Nomad is coming along really nice. It's been a long journey with this car because of delays and setbacks of working on other cars. And I explained it to the owner that I would only work on his car in between other jobs, but I actually kind of feel bad about the situation because it's taken way too long to do this car, and I have now dedicated myself to going ahead and finishing it up and getting it to the stage of paint ready, and then we'll contact the owner and see what he wants to do next with the vehicle. He did claim that he probably wants to change the color on it. We were going to go with black, but he is now thinking of green. I think it was green he was thinking about. And if that's the case, that's fine. I don't care. You know, we got to paint the door jambs anyway. But yeah, there you go, right there. All right, let's look at this side of the car right here. We're going to start up on the fender, and you can see I went ahead and ground down all the spots where there's dents, but you can see that this side isn't that bad. Now we got a major dent right here. We're going to pull that out. Then we got some minor hail damage right there. Coming over here, there's a few little dings here. This is all the damage we have on the door. We got a little bit of a cave-in right here for some reason. Being close to that door handle, I can understand that situation. And then we got like 5 or 6 little dings. Got a dent down on the bottom low. This fender well, of course, it's going to have dings around it. These will be from door dings, people dinging into it in the shopping mall or restaurant or wherever. And then this is basically it, what you're looking at right here on the quarter panel of the car. And you can see that this side of the car is really actually clean. Let's go ahead and get to work here. And what I'm going to do is, there's a dent right here, and I'm going to show you how I do it. And there's many ways to pull these dents out. You can use anything from a slide hammer to possibly getting in here with a pry bar and pulling that out, this hole right here. We can actually do that, I guess, to pull that out. I was going to use my dent puller here, but I got to use it down the line. So let me show you how to do this, because you don't own a dent puller. And let me get the tool that I need, and I'm going to show you how easy that is to pop out. So you can see the dent right here, and you can also see that the tail light's out. And on a vehicle like this, where the metal is very thin, once again, this is a first-gen throwaway car, and this is where they started thinning the metal out, the metal panels. They started using thinner metal on them. So these type of cars, the dents usually pop out really nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pry bar just like this over here on this dent, and I'm going to take this hammer right here. This is a special hammer It's called a long reach, okay? Because the head's way down here, and you can get inside these type of holes right here to hammer stuff out. But we're going to start out with this tool right here, and I'm going to reach in there, and let me show you how easy this is to fix a dent like this. Is that we are going to just kind of pop it out. You can see it. I don't know if you can see that moving or not. We're going to find the low spot of it, and the dent's already actually out. This is where it got hit right here in this area. That's the hard point, and then what happened is it tin canned this area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pry bar and I'm going to put it right there where that dent is, and then I'm going to take my hammer and just kind of tap that edge to push it back out where it's supposed to be. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get our electric dent puller out. This actually runs off a 12-volt battery, and when you're not using it, you keep it charged up. You keep it on the charger. It's got a magnetic ground that you can put anywhere. And then what we're going to do is we'll take our dent puller, and only in this area right here, all right, this is where the point of impact was, right there. All right, because if you notice, this came out really, really nice, but the point of impact's there, and then notice I got a little low spot right here, so I'll go ahead and pull a little bit of that out. But let's go ahead and see what happens here. I'm going to put my pry bar on it. And then I'm going to pull it out, just like that. And it looks like that pretty much got it. Let me go ahead and do it right here. I'm going to get it right here in this corner one more time. And then I notice there's a low spot right in here, and instead of using my pry bar and pushing it out and making it too high, I'm going to go ahead and just do a couple little pulls right here, just like that. Get one right here. And you can see how easy I'm doing this. I'm not even putting a lot of pressure to it. I'm just, and then there you go. We got one more over here. Let's go ahead and pull that dent out, and then I'm going to start bondoing this baby up. And on this particular one, I am going to use my electric dent puller. Let's look at it, and I'll show you the situation we have. So the dent in question is this one right here. Remember I told you there was like a dent right there, like it was like pushed in. It was a fist-sized little dent. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and repeat our process on using our dent puller. Let me get a good ground here, and then we'll go ahead and use the dent puller on that. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't have one of these. The only suggestion I can give you to actually pull that out is you can actually take the door panel off the inside and go in there using your pry bars and your hammers and dollies and pushing it out, or you can rely on a stud gun. There's a stud gun that actually does the same thing. It welds an electrode rod onto it, and then you use a stud gun slide hammer to pull it out. Or if you don't have any of those, you can actually use a slide hammer itself and drill a small hole in there, screw it in, and pull it out. I like this method here, and like I said, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have this tool. Probably more don't have it than people that do have it, but if you ever get a chance and you get into this type of business, this would actually be a good tool to invest in. And then you can see by going to the core of the problem, all right, it's removing the whole dent, not just part of it. Here's one more dent. I'll go ahead and show you this one. This is where the door lip has creased in, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that. So what we're talking about is this lip right here. It's rolled over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this body hammer right here. This is not a shrinking hammer. You can see it doesn't have a waffle face. It's just a flat face on it. And then I'm going to use this particular dolly right here. I'm going to hold it right on the edge where the hard line is, and then what I'll do is I will hold that right there. I'm trying to do this and show you at the same time, and then I will hit the edge, the outer edge of this door, just like that. And then what we're doing now is we are pulling that dent out by putting that lip back to where it goes. Now, it's very important that you use a dolly on this, and the reason is, if you don't have a dolly on the outside, and you can see that I'm not hitting it where the dolly is, but if you don't have this on the outside, what's going to happen is the force isn't going to be the same, and all you're going to do is be hitting it like this and doing the force like this, and then it'll put a crease here. So it's very important to have the dolly, because every time that you hit your hammer with a blow, it's pushing that dolly into the car door. And that actually looks really, really nice right there. We're going to shut the door and see what it looks like. And I can see that it came out really, really nice. I'm still not happy with this gap here. I'm going to have to figure something out here, because that really looks like crap. And we'll have to get more in depth on that when we get to it. Right now we're not messing with it. But I can see that I pulled that lip out, and it looks like I got to do just a little bit more finessing on it with my hammer and dolly. And I think we'll have that done and ready for action. So we're working on the Vega, we're getting her done, and we're trying to do the best we can. And we're taking it to the limit of saying, I do high quality work, and I'm going to pass it on to my customer, because I like to go to bed at night with a conscience. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete. We'll be back on the Vega, and hopefully it'll be in primer the next time we see it, and on our way to the sandblasters. My phone's ringing, I gotta go. Take it easy.